Hi, ladies. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the check-in system because we're doing it a little bit differently this year for those who've been in my mastermind program for a while, and Thriving just to refresh you, and then also for TNH just so that you guys are aware and that all of you are on the same page. So one of the main concerns I get is when people get their phones blown up all the time with all these text messages, and sometimes it can feel like a journal entry or it's just too hard to decipher and you got to go about your own day. And so we're streamlining it to only 3 things that you're checking in on. If you've been doing this for a long time and your goals are more personal than they are professional, which are usually true with a lot of my people in the mastermind, you can alter this a little bit, but what ideally it should be 1 personal goal, 1 professional goal, and a habit you're working on. And the habit is really important to reflect what you're using within the habit tracker, right? The habit tracker. So that you can see okay, did I do it? Did I not do it? How many days did I do it? And then you can easily have it written out, and then you can give yourself little stickers, little hearts or whatever, just to give you to see that you are achieving the habit. And like James Clear talks about, your goal once you start a habit is just don't break the chain. And then once it's habitualized, then move on to a new habit instead of switching it around each week or each month. Unless it's this is just now what you do. If you're always taking your vitamins, great. You've taken your vitamins, you don't need accountability with that. Move on to the next one. And then the other thing is, instead of having your check-in page be basically your what you would be on here for a week, you want to have it trimmed down to what is most important to achieve that week, to accomplish, to be, to practice, and keeping it in a format that is definitely one of the SMART goals, right? Making sure it's specific, it has a deadline, and keeping it in a format that's easy to read instead of it being really long-winded. If it's long-winded, then it's kind of hard to decide what are you doing? If you need help with that, let me know. I'm really good at truncating those sorts of things. So for the week, what I do is on Sundays, write down, and what is my intention for the week? And again, your intention, I have it within the check-in as well. What is my intention for the week? Because we cannot manifest and create from anxiety and scarcity. We manifest in a state of flow, presence, awareness, paying attention to signs, kismet moments, and listening within and being able to hear where you need to be led. So grounding yourself to what is my intention this week, and then writing out your goals for the week based on what you're doing for the month, as well as your have-tos. And then of course the heart focus, mantra, touchstone, and I am are all a repeat of what's in the beginning of the guidebook. So you're setting it, and then you put it all in your guidebook pages, right? You put it all in your guidebook pages. So you don't need accountability on every single thing, right? So what are the things you're I really need to get this in and habitualize this so I don't need to worry about it, instead of having 4 different personal habits and 5 different professional goals. And it gets to be what really should be on your page is suddenly in a long text message, and it becomes overwhelming and it's hard for other people to see it. So first one is, what is your intention? Right here, it's your intention, your personal goal, your professional goal, your habit. Again, if you're in the mastermind, you don't have to have it professional because you might already be established enough in your profession that you don't need that because you're already doing it automatically. And then I am grateful for. So I use a little prayer signal, and I am grateful for. So this one's really important. If you watch The Secret, if you watch anything about the law of attraction, it is all about not just what you're grateful for, but why, right? So I am grateful for blank because of blank. And it makes it go deeper, versus I'm grateful for coffee, and it doesn't really mean anything, versus I'm grateful for coffee because that's when I connect with my sweetheart. That has a different feeling to it. So you write those 3. I recommend taking a beat when you're doing your check-in and just rereading it over, just to get you in the right frame of mind. Oh, look at how great my life is. What is working? What is great right now? And then when you do your check-in, you do it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Put an emoticon. I do a little flower for if I did it. I do a little crazy face for if I sort of did it. And then I do a little robot if I didn't, because I'm not scolding myself. We cannot criticize ourselves into greatness, right? We can't hate on ourselves to then create self-love. It doesn't really make sense. So if you make it a little more playful, that helps. And then you want to stack it so you see oh, I did it that day, I did that day. Oh, interesting, I fell off that day. So you can see that. And if it's a habit, take that and then put those stickers in your habit tracker. Now on Fridays, it's really important to then go through and look at your week, not just here, but on here, and then you're asking these questions. And I really recommend you actually putting it, my stickers are coming out. Putting it in here. What worked? What didn't? Why? How do I polish? And this is really insightful so that you can see like, oh wow, I really overschedule. Oh, I really am doing that thing again. Oh, I really don't care about that. Even though I think I should make that a goal, I don't really want to do it. It gives you a lot of ahas, right? Like we want to make sure that we're just paying attention to that. So you take that, put that in your check-in, because then you're holding yourself accountable to that. Right? So you're like, okay, this is what I'm learning. And so that you're not repeating the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. When we decide to learn in a state of joy, we change the neurosynapses in our brain faster, right? So we are able to create habits faster when we do it in a place of playfulness. So if you can take a breath, even if you're sitting on the toilet, when you have your 30 seconds and you do it, take that breath to be in your body. Like, this is my intention. My intention is to be present. My intention is to be kind. My intention is to be, disciplined, whatever your intention is for that week. And then you go through your goals, put your little emoticon and what you're grateful for. And then on Friday, like I mentioned, you sit there and look at what you did. And then you notice what worked, what didn't, why, how to polish. And put it in your check-in, but also put it in your guidebook. So you're like, okay, that's how I'm doing. Now, that may mean that next Friday that you might want to do your goals, the Friday before the next week, if that's how you want to do it, or if you want to do it on Sundays. Kind of see what works and makes sense for your schedule. It might make more sense to do it on Friday, add in a little bit of time for how you're going to schedule your next week. Because the using of the guidebook, when I do it, my week is more effortless. And it doesn't mean that there's it's rigidity. I actually have more fluidity, or I can see, let me give myself more space on these other days so I'm not overdoing it, because we can quadruple book ourselves on our phone and be completely unrealistic of things like how long it takes to get groceries, or planning for a birthday party, or wrapping presents, or cleaning up, or any of the commuting, right? We can be like, oh yeah, I can do all of these things. And then you see oh, I didn't do it. And instead say, oh wow, I am unrealistic with my time. So what's most important? What's urgent and important? What is not urgent but important? What is not urgent and not important? And what is not urgent and not important? Because so many people spend their time doing things that are not urgent and not important, aka scrolling on social media or things like that. And the idea is to not be in a state of panic where everything's urgent and important, like you're late on your bills, and instead have it be like Mondays I do my bills, so that I'm never behind. It's still, it's not urgent, but it's important. Does that make sense? All right, so if you have any questions, let me know, and I hope this helps. This is the format. I'll be texting the format just so that we're all on the same page, and I wish you all the very best this year, and always.